Hi, this is Ed from SOS Bookkeeping. I wanted to come on and share an experience I just had that I hope some of you may find useful regarding HOAs and the banking and bookkeeping relationships. I've been on the board of our HOA for a few years now. When I first got on, I was not involved in the original relationships that were set up, but our management company had full access to our banking. None of the officers had access to the banking, and they were also responsible for our bookkeeping. And I immediately thought this was not a good arrangement and started pushing back against it, but didn't get anywhere. And then I think in my third year on the board, I became the treasurer, and the whole board changed. And we decided to change management companies. And by the way, none of the board previously had access to any of the bank accounts. So the first step was that the officers, me as the treasurer and the president, gained access to the bank account. And as we started going through the bank account, or I did, and comparing it to the P&L and balance sheet that we've been receiving, I saw some discrepancies. Not huge things, but there were things like late fees on our insurance payments that I think 4 of them that amounted to about $1,400 that were buried in our books. Some payments to the management company relatives for work that wasn't done or wasn't done properly and had to be redone. Nothing significant of a large amount of money, but nonetheless, this was our money and it was not being managed properly or efficiently. So for other reasons, the board finally decided to sever ties with this management company. And, when you do that, there's always issues. And according to the laws of our state, the management company has 20 days to turn over records. But that didn't happen. I think it was almost 40 days before we got our records. But of course, in the period of that time, we have meetings and we have to provide financial statements to the homeowners at the monthly meetings. So it fell on me to reconstruct our books based on the last month's P&L balance sheet and receivables and so on that we had gotten from the management company, which was a royal pain. It was just such a challenge. But then we also found or realized that the management company had their name on our bank accounts jointly with us. So we had to remove that. Fortunately, we were able to keep the same account numbers, but we had to change the checks because the checks had their name on it and our name. But worst of all, we had to have the homeowners reset up their payment methods for their monthly assessments. And we have 60 homeowners here. And so we had 60 fiascos. People were frustrated and why do I have to do this again? And then we found there was maybe 5 or 6, I think it was 6, that were sending their check to the management company. So we had to put a halt on that. Had to get the checks from the management company. Then we also found that there were, I think, 3 or 4 that had been paying the wrong amount. They'd been paying the assessment amount from the previous year, or even a couple from 2 years ago. We had to get all that corrected. So it was an enormous amount of work to be able to do that. Finally, we've got it, I think, under control, but a lot of work. And, just from the beginning, I was very uncomfortable with the same entity having full control of our banking, unlimited control of our banking, and control of all the data. So all the bookkeeping was provided by them as well. It's just not a good setup. So my advice based on this experience is, if you're on the board of an HOA, I strongly suggest that you maintain control of your bank accounts. You can add the management company as a signer on your bank account. And that way they can be removed at any time if you decide to change management companies, which is inevitable. I mean, you're not going to have the same management company forever. But that will make it easier. You can set up, depending on your state laws, I don't know the other state laws, but in our state, we can put in our bylaws what limitations management company has as far as an amount of a check that they can write without permission from a board member. So put that in your bylaws and give that to make sure that the management company is fully aware of those limitations and stay on top of it. If they ever break that rule, you need to jump on them hard and give them warning, and could be even cause for termination of that contract. Keep the bank accounts in your name. And bookkeeping, I would suggest that you use third-party bookkeeping, even though most of the management companies include it. I would suggest that you use third-party. Of course, we are pros at that, but whomever you use a third party, and you might be able to negotiate the price down a little bit for your management company based on that. We'd be happy to give you a price. We have a fixed price per door for most associations, depending upon a few variables, but nothing significant. And any other bookkeeping business should be able to do the same. So that's just some tips, something in personal experience that I learned that was very frustrating and painful, and took a while. It took us full month to get it sorted out, and dealing with people and answering questions, and just a lot of headache. So that's what I suggest. Retain control of your bank accounts. Add the management company as signers that you can easily remove. Set up your SOP, your bylaws to limit the amount of the dollar amount of a check that they can write without permission from a board member, and outsource your bookkeeping to a third party, and they can keep an eye on things and make sure that there's no funny business going on. Anyway, hopefully you find that helpful. If you have any more questions or like more information, just drop a note in the comments below, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Take care. Bye-bye.